Happy 2019. It's time for the Perfect Host show on DJNTV. Coming up, number 7 of the Perfect Host Top 10. Is it time for Taki Taki in the music room and a moron marketing tip? That's all next. The Perfect Host show on DJNTV. I'm Jim Cerone. We've been slowly but surely working our way through the Perfect Host Top 10. And this week, we're up to number 7, which is called Work It. Work it, work it, work it, work it. Being a DJ looks easy, but it's really hard work. And we have to do some things we're not super comfortable doing, like getting out from behind our table, which is really like a wall. It's our protected safe zone where we can go and nobody can get to us. But if you want to be a perfect host, you have to remove that barrier between you and the guests. And that starts, as we talked about, by welcoming guests at the very beginning of the night. You should be a familiar face by the time you make your first announcement. That means getting out during the ceremony, during cocktail hour, as the guests are arriving. Whatever the venue is, and whether it's a wedding or a corporate event or a bar or bat mitzvah, you should be the friendly, familiar face. And then when you make your first announcement, people will be quiet. But guess what? A lot of us as DJs are insecure. In fact, some of us are socially awkward. We don't really like making conversation. We're not sure how to go up to a complete stranger and make small talk. But here's the thing. How bad could it really be? You're not going to die. No one's going to shoot you or knife you or hurt you. All you're doing is making your guests feel welcome as the host. And it's funny, when you accept that role, when you believe in yourself as that role, then people see you as the host. It's a magical thing that happens. If you believe it yourself, then people will perceive you as the host. Even if you're working in a venue with a terrific staff, you are the person that's going to be on the microphone. And so you should be perceived as the host. And that starts with you believing that you have a right to go up to everybody and just ask very simple, non-committal questions. How are you? How do you know Kate and Dan? How was the ceremony? Little simple questions that make sure the guests are comfortable. You're opening a door, and you'll find that once people know you know what you're doing, you have the event checklist, you're the person guiding the event, then they will come to you with questions. So you're really just opening the door and letting them know you are approachable, you're available to help in any way. At events, I'm often doing things you wouldn't normally think fall under the term DJ. People sometimes mistake me for a banquet manager or a general manager, and that's okay. I want them to feel comfortable and knowing that they can approach me with whatever question or problem they might have. Even if that's, there's only 8 seats at this table, but we'd really like to put a 9th person, I will help you find the person who can take care of that for you. Where are the restrooms? All the other questions that we get. It's too hot in here, it's too cold in here. That's okay. You are the host of the party. And if you believe that you are that, regardless of where you're working, then it literally transforms the way the guests see you. But you have to, number 7, work it. You have to get out from behind your table. And some of us are really reluctant to do that. But if you will, magical things will happen. If you see me, chances are I'm right in the middle of a detective novel or a spy book. I am constantly reading. I love detectives, all the way back to Peter Falk's Columbo, but Monk and Psych, and any good detective uses what? Their powers of observation. And you already do this as a DJ, whether you realize it or not. You observe the dance floor. We call it reading the dance floor, but you're really Observing. You're observing human behavior. You're watching how people interact with each other. You're watching whether their shoulders are really tight or whether they're relaxed and smiling and laughing. It's really important to use your powers of observation as a DJ. We talked a while back about the party IQ. You use your powers of observation to look and see if the party IQ is high, which is what we all hope for, that kind of crowd, or if it's really low. And you use it to watch people's comfort level. Does this side of the room in a wedding situation know this side of the room? If not, you can feel the temperature of the room be a little bit colder, and it's your job to really get out and work it in that kind of a situation. You use your powers of observation to watch if there's a spill on the dance floor or a broken glass, because that can affect the mood. If you watch, and the thing we do as DJs is we just watch the dance floor. We really have that tendency, once the dance floor opens and open dancing's in full swing, we are really zeroed in. Please, let me challenge you to still watch the room and to still work the room. I work solo, but a lot of people work with another person. So if you have a DJ, I really encourage you as the MC to get out into the far corners of the room for a couple of reasons. Is the volume getting too loud? We love to turn it up, but sometimes it can be too much based on the acoustics of the room. You also want to see how come that table hasn't gotten up, and you can use the chance to go over and talk to them. Remember, we're talking about very simple, non-committal small talk. It's really simple. Everybody having a good time? Is there anything you need? That's a great question to ask people, very open-ended. They can say, nope, we're doing good, or, hey, would you play? It gives them the opportunity and opens the door. Again, you want to be approachable, friendly, familiar face that people can come to with anything they might have. Number 7, work it. That means you're getting out from behind your console. You're removing that barrier between you and the guests, really getting out and working the entire room. Like a good politician, you just want to shake every hand and kiss every baby. You want to use your powers of observation like a detective to see how the temperature in the room is. Is the party IQ high or low? If it's low, what can you do to get out there, work the room more, and raise the temperature in the room? And also make sure that everybody feels included. How come that table hasn't gotten up? Don't just watch the dance floor, watch everything and everybody and work it. Coming up next, Into the Music Room, the Perfect Host Show on DJNTV.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
In the music room, as we do every week on the Perfect Host Show, DJNTV, I'm your musicologist, Jim Cerone. It's interesting after the Golden Globes how some songs got a bump. Sunflower, which is featured in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie, is now #1 on the iTunes top downloads. Also, Shallow from the Star is Born movie from Lady Gaga popped up to #2 on the iTunes charts. One of these days I'm going to show you all the different charts that I look at every week. It's the best way to stay up to date on music because it's coming from so many different directions. When Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and Steely Dan and some of those groups were recording, it was a very arduous, very expensive process to make an album. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the record companies only sponsored so many albums per year because it cost so much. Now, anybody can make an album with a MacBook Pro or even an iPad. So there's a lot more music being recorded, being made and released than ever before, so that's making our jobs challenging. So you've got to check the charts to keep up to date. There is a song that I think is finally ready for prime time, and that's Taki Taki by DJ Snake. I had a guest request this at that wedding. It had only been out a couple of days. I was aware of it already, but it hadn't reached critical mass. And it's still not quite something that mom or grandma might know, but I think it's familiar enough that it could work on the dance floors. Now's the time to spring it. But like with a lot of songs now, there are only portions of the song that may work. You may make your own remix, you may set your own cue points so that you get in and out of the song at the up-tempo parts or the repetitive phrase of taki taki. This is the time that the record companies and artists will start releasing new material here in the first quarter. So hopefully we'll have a good new batch of songs from 2019 that people can dance to. More on Marketing Tip next, The Perfect Host Show, DJNTV. The Perfect Host Show, DJNTV. I'm Jim Cerone with your More on Marketing Tip. It doesn't matter what you want. Things have changed a lot in terms of the way that we interact with our customers, the way we get inquiries. That used to come on the phone, we used to have in-person consultations, and now sometimes if we don't answer their question within 5 minutes, they've moved on to someone else. It doesn't matter how we want it anymore. All that matters is how our clients want to communicate and that we mirror their needs. So if they want to text, we should text. If they want a chat bot on our website, then we should be able to chat with them. Everybody's more protective of their private information, so they don't want to email and give us their email address, even though, you know, a lot of them create their own wedding email address that they use just for dealing with vendors. They don't want to text us because then we'll have their phone number. So I think chat on websites is going to be the next thing. That way they don't have to release any private information. It may not be the way that we want to communicate, but what we want doesn't matter anymore. It's 2019. That's your More on Marketing Tip, and that's the end of this episode of The Perfect Host on DJNTV.